Once again, without the aid of a robot, we were able to identify the supply zone. And this guppy, hopefully this guy last night, took his 100 pips and ran. Cornwallis. This is the loneliest wick of all. That's still a 30 pip crush. It is the guppy, by the way. That supply zone is deep. It goes back 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Certainly, for the all-in, don't want to miss any trades. If you're missing out, entry is going to be about right. Starting. So how did that actually launch? Remember the half-hour chart? Well, here's the tipping point in Asia. But there was this topic on the bottom here. Look how it overshot, actually, because I was marking that off when we were streaming. And look at the topic on the bottom. But, it just did that one last order block, apparently. On the half, that's the 1 hour. So on the half an hour, it's a double top, right? And as we come screaming back, I hope he cashed out on these supply zones down here, because this is a nice chunk of money. And now you could have sold into that, even the goobers with the sell stops, but they got to be careful, because the market's coming ripping back, and if it comes all the way back to the floor, you pretty much no profits. All right, so that's the trade. We could see that last night. We understood it. It's also in an uptrend, so we know this is a temporary lapse of reason. You kind of have to, when the market gives you that bonus, right now it's still drifting back, and stock's going to open up in less than an hour here. So even this is a great trade, even if you didn't sell it, so you go either way on these things, You can trade both directions, but one thing you can say about this is that in the mere time of 1 hour, that thing just, look at the 4-hour chart. My God, you can't even see. It may just end up closing up and be a hammer. That's how fast the market is. Here's the half-hour view, is you're just down like 100 pips in an hour and a half, clean, sharp, boom. You could even trade the breakout here of a half hour. There's a million ways to play it, right? But you don't need too much. And I understand the moving average idea is that you probably got in here. Your MA is saying it's tilted down here, and you're like, okay, yeah, I guess that's going to be a good trade, right? It's tilted down, and the the whole thing's on a no matter what moving average, even an array of moving averages kind of giving you this, it doesn't mean that, like this didn't really bear too much fruit because it got trapped here. So there is a mini trap there, or a mini auction, and then up and up and up. This top tick Tommy in that 10 pip window, and then slam to the earth. And the spread's pretty tight now. It's about 2 pips this time of day. So we're waiting for the bottom of the hour, 5 minutes after, and in 1 hour from now, when stocks open, they might rally. It's hard to believe, but you can't stop. The stock market is inherently bullish. They actually do stuff. And Bitcoin buyers came in at Bitcoin last night, as we expect when the market gets extreme. So this could come ripping back here to here. Here's the round. And I suspect people will be selling at the tippy top of here. We'll see a reaction off of this supply. That's the 1 hour supply, I guess you call it. And that's about how that goes. So I took a nap there, and that was some highly, I don't know, it's harder talking to people or trading the market. The market is this, you against the market. So it makes it really kind of a intimate, private kind of thing. So yes, I bought the plunge of that, as you would expect. I said if it goes down, I'll buy. Now the short that I put on earlier, I only scalped to the top of that, so I didn't ride this down, because I don't really want to. If I'm in the trade, I want to babysit it, I suppose. But if I'm not in the trade, I go to sleep and the market smashes into limits. I'll take either trade here. If I was short, like that guy was short, he was in a position trade, and yeah, it was worth to hold it, for this. And then but then just by the same token, he's got to think about getting out here, and this is just an unsustainable rate of change. Let's be clear about just simple, crude physics here. Sometimes it's just a very, took out the support and ripped through it. It could rip back. It could actually pause here and go ripping this way, or it could come here. It could make it to here and keep tanking. A million scenarios, but one thing is really obvious is that when the market's on fire like that, it's a flash. It's a momentary lapse of reason. You got to take advantage of that. What else we got? Yeah, gold's just sitting there doing nothing. Looks kind of bullish, actually. Gold's kind of like, this is not selling off, looks bullish. Here was the stop hunt, so to speak. I suppose you could have put your buy limit right here at the Lonely Wick and picked up a few. You'd be up on your Bitcoin trade right now, right? There's the 1 hour wick window. Here's the where you place your orders. Like, I'm just gonna give away a secret here. This is the Lonely Wick right here. This is the order block. And there's another one here, but this is a little more risky because you have to go underwater on this trade. But if you put a ticket here, a buy limit here, and so this guy last night, why would you put why would you put an order there? Yeah, I got the reason right there, buddy. So this is not brain surgery, man. You're just overcomplicating it with all your. You think that high frequency is some type of the pinnacle of. There's nothing faster than a pending order that's already been there. I'm there before I'm ahead of your $100,000 instant execution platform. I beat you to it, and actually my limit orders are honored before your market orders. So I don't even know what he's talking about when it goes to talk about that shit. But that's the magic of pendings. That you do that trade. Same thing on the sell side here. We know there's going to be sellers. Here, because this is where people take profits from this Lonely Wick. Don't forget, there's a guy that bought that Lonely Wick, and he bought this one. Here's another one. Now this is a profound support area, but if you have the balls to buy this, and yes, of course, it's different with real money. Fucking duh. But you're gonna buy here, right? The question is, do you hold that for? This 4-hour chart. Do you hold that for 8 hours until you get to the next? You'd actually hold that for about 2 days to make it to this target, right? Where wow, one more wick up there. But the entrance is the wick for limit orders. Obviously, that is the place to get in with your limit orders. Now, at the market, yes, you could actually trade at the market like a true aficionado trendline goober. You draw your trend line here. On closing prices, never draw them on wicks. What's the point? It's not a trend line. That's a volatility line. Come on, people. So never draw your trend lines like this. You're too far away from price. Come on, man. That's another thing I just can't. Why didn't anybody figure that out? How to trade a trend line. Here's one top. Connect the two tops. You look for a third top. And look at, lo and behold, it touches the trend line, then it tanks. Now, all that is you're deciding the rate of change that you're willing to get in, and it just so happens that, now, obviously, if you sell here at the market, you put too tight a stop. I guess this, you don't know about this trend line, but this one you do. And if you sold here, there's probably a point at which they wicked that up, and maybe they took you out because you're too cheap. And you only put one ticket in because you didn't account for the fact there might be an extra wick. So the extra wick is the bonus entry on Bitcoin, right? Sell limit here. Sell limits above here. Why is this a secret? So I saw a guy do a thing on Bitcoin. He's like, well, it could go up, it could go down. Don't give us a trade. And don't give us some theoretical bullshit about I stared into the faces of candles and they talked to me. Ridiculous hypothesis and theories. Dude, this is why people have spent too much time thinking about this shit. Look at this. Check this Lonely Wick. They tagged that last night, dude. They took, just like they took the guppy down. See what's going on here with the dollar? This is what they took. So this is kind of, not everything's moving in concert. I got it, right? But, man, they took it the same way they took out the structures here on the guppy, going back on the 4-hour chart, right? They tagged that price, did they not? Here it is. Look at, just like they did on the Bitcoin last night. Big move. Big flush. They called it the retail flush, in case you're wondering. In my level 2 trading course, we examine in detail the retail flush and the toilet bowl and the rim. But yeah, that's a profound move. Now, it could still drip down. The scalpers, you got to be thinking, you just took out that 1 hour high. Look at the reaction. It's already backing off. This is the guppy. Look at it backing off of that. You knew there's sellers up there. You knew it. But is it enough? Should we go flat now? Should we put in buy limits? That's the question. Should I drop in some buy limits like this and pick up this 2 hours later? Now be very careful when you do the guppy. But here, there's 2 hour buy limits down here. I'm saying I'm giving the market 2 hours to get down here, hit this price and retrace. So I'm creating my own auction, right? And there you go. That's as simple as that. Now, the trading all these at one time. Also here, we're coming to scalpers exit right now. Sellers are going to come in there. So a lot of these really nice clean breakouts, and they're over. Now this looks like the pound could, we broke out, pulled back. We got a little more. This would be the getting all drifty. Heavy sellers above here. It's a lonely wick, so to speak, on this time frame, 5-minute chart. But, a lot of people probably already, they may not wait for this price. I got out because we all knew there was sellers up here, right? The bears are going to start selling there on limits, and they're hoping that in the 15-minute world that this is going to be nothing but a dead cat bounce, and we're going to go back to business as usual, bring them in from the border, and just they've already got their channels built. People are like, yeah, it's going to channel down like this, and we sell here and it goes down. And their ultimate goal is it tags this end of the channel down here. But it's the time of day, and that's the problem with getting too projectioned and too targeted in that sense. Because I do think that this is the British pound. This is a big deal, right? So this double bottom was this triple bottom. They blew it out, and I think that could be a decent target. But when stocks open, all bets are off in a sense, because you could just go ripping and take out these tops and just blow everybody's mind and go up. But there is a limit. And last night, the guy kept saying, well, there's a limit, man. Well, yeah, but see this cove here? You see this triple bottom here? This slot, the supply zone, once they break below it, this is the trading floor. Bottom becomes a top, but it fails, right? Because people are thinking, well, that's a top become a bottom. I did a setup. I got moving averages say we're in a downtrend, don't forget. So a little betrayed by your moving average there. And lo and behold, it rejects that floor. It engulfs. Not all the way, but just enough to blow you out. Another one of those trap entries is you put your sell stop here and you think, oh, well, but guess what? People scalp that 20 pip window, hold for a possible engulf. And of course, if you play both sides towards the middle, you got your sell limits right up on that. Right up there in a sweet spot, very precision, no Fibonacci. It's just good old fashioned, I guess they call them pivot points in a sense. You call it what you want. Order blocks, dildo holsters, whatever it is. Like look at this. Here's a prime example of a screaming down market, unsustainable. It doesn't quite bounce back to the support, right? It's just too fierce, and that's the that fizzle move there. So it's going to be rambunctious, and there's going to be some volatility this week, I suppose. The FOMC is supposed to at noon say some nonsense. Okay, so it's 5 minutes after the bottom of the hour. And here's kind of the critical trend theory instead of critical race theory, or critical retracement theory. Is we only got we got less than an hour before stocks open, and then it'll be Europe, and Europe closes, and what's going to happen to the dollar? And if you went long, what's weird is that the dollar yen is doing the same movements as the kind of unusual in a sense. The same movements. I got buy limits here. Look at this stop. I got, like, they can't stop me out of this trade. See, I'm using the big wide stop here. So I was able to get into these 2K kind of like not having to really think about too hard. That's an 8-hour script, and I think I just got filled. Now I could take this off the table, actually. Take that off, and this is kind of the wobble method. When this gets to I'll be a winner because the market may come back to here, I can just take that trade off too, right? And go flat and then have a clear head. I'm only in one. That's the only trade I got going. So Swiss franc, look at this bitch. Now, when the euro goes down, this typically is a mirror image. The dollar Swiss goes up. But, there's sellers galore up here, and we may not even make it there. Because now we've created this big vacuum behind it, this big void, and they're very exchange rangey markets. Like, look at the 4-hour dollar Swiss. Is there a trend here? Boy, I don't know. This was a nice trend, wasn't it? Remember these days? You could do no wrong, and then Chopville. So a lot of chop. Anyways, that's my my market update. Hope everybody's healing up from the bombastic exchange of stem sentences without an ending. The grammaric blue balls we had to endure.